complete unknown what there was to be known about him. And
he was a jerk.
Hello and welcome to CassetteTake, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what did we just go see?
We just saw the 2024 A Complete Unknown,
which is now known to us. A complete known.
We weren't able to go see it in 2024, so this is our first movie of 2025.
We're playing a little catch-up game here.
A little bit, yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get to the substance. Shut up. Shut up. We will do that.
We're trying. Oh, man. So this is with Timothée Chalet. It's about Bob Dylan. And I'm going to just start off this with a hot take, Ethan. You know this about me. A lot of our friends know this about me. I am not a music fan.
No, you are not.
No, but my God, did I want to listen to some Bob Dylan after?
That's a pretty impressive feat. Good job, James Mangold.
Thank you, James Mangold.
And yes, this film is directed by James Mangold, and if you recognize that name, not due to another Star Wars movie that is announced with a, director and writer, but hasn't come out yet. You might know him from Logan. You might know him from Ford v Ferrari.
Oh, great movie.
And then you also might know him from another musical artist biopic, Walk the Line.
He didn't walk the line?
Yeah, so he did Johnny Cash is in this movie. He's in the trailer, so that's a spoiler.
No.
But he's not portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix. He didn't want to do the whole cinematic universe thing.
Well, that would have been kind of cool, though. I won't lie.
It's like, no, we're not touching that. Like, I don't want to imply anything. Like, okay,
he really did walk the line? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
He walked that line.
He did it.
But no, we're here to talk about A Complete Unknown, and James Mangold did indeed do a fantastic job directing this movie. He directed the hell out of it.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know what to expect because, again, not a huge music fan. I didn't really, don't yell at me, guys. I didn't really know who Bob Dylan was. Like, if you played his song, I probably wouldn't have been able to guess it. Like, I've heard it before. And so I really did not know where this film was going to go, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
To be fair, a lot of the music that we probably would know from Bob Dylan is more of his writing than it is him singing it. And I wasn't made aware of that till many years after I had listened to a lot of, classic music, whether it be folk or rock, etc. And yeah, so I was very curious to see the man behind that and what this complete unknown, what there was to be known about him. And
he was a jerk. Sorry.
Well, Bob Dylan's never coming on the show.
Sorry, Bob Dylan.
No, but he was kind of a little pretentious, a little bit of an ass, as stated in the movie. But, he also was a talented ass. And, an ass is an ass, but if it's a good-looking ass and and it does what it needs to do, then, hey, you got to applaud it.
That's a good-looking ass.
Put that in your quote book.
There we go. I'll do it. But honestly, I think the biggest selling point for me was Timothée Chalamet because really, Timothée he's dominated this year with Dune Part 2 and now this. And he really has taken over the world pretty much. And so seeing him portray someone which is just so different from who he's played before, like, I didn't know Timmy could sing either, and it was great.
Well, not only sing, but, we see a little bit of him playing the guitar in Lady Bird, and, at least I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm 90% sure. And, we see he has some musical inclination, but, here, he's not only giving one of the biggest performances of his life, but he's simultaneously doing that while working, like, 3 other instruments simultaneously. So, going into this movie, I was, like, in the mindset of, there's no way this has any chance of coming close to his performance in Dune Part 2 as Paul Atreides. That he transformed in that role, in that character that no one thought he could reach. And here, I still wouldn't put it over his Paul Atreides performance, but it did come pretty darn close to reaching those levels because, you know, again, you consider everything that goes into his Bob Dylan performance, being someone he's truly not, being, you know, this like that character throughout different stages of his life, whilst playing instruments at those different stages of his life simultaneously. And just, it's such an excellent performance that, you know, you can't help but, you know, just be entranced by it.
Wait, so Timothée Chalamet recently came out and he talked about how he tried out for Divergent, didn't get it, tried out for Maze Runner, didn't get it, and he said a lot of the comments and feedback he received was about his body, and so it led him to go into more of these indie works, like Call Me By Your Name, like Lady Bird, and now he's become so popular. But the biggest thing is he hasn't gotten his Oscar yet. So, and we've discussed this, if it's going to be for Paul Atreides or Bob Dylan. So you're leaning more towards Paul Atreides. So.
Well, me personally,
yeah,
I don't think the Academy is gonna, like, they're so I you know, yeah, I'm not gonna be afraid of my wording. So, you know, sometimes they're just so into like more of the artsy side of things than the what's the good balance of commercially sound and artistically sound. Although, you know, there's a rare exception like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King and all that. But here, I mean, I personally don't see how you could put Paul Atreides, his performance, below Bob Dylan. But it does make... I think they're going to go with the Bob Dylan one to nominate him for. And if that's the case, I don't think he's going to win.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I really don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved his performance, but just based on what the vibe I'm getting from, you know, the word throughout the industry, it's just, I don't think he'll get it. I would love if he did. And then I can be like, by proxy, that's Paul Atreides receiving an Oscar right there. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it might, even though I haven't seen The Brutalist yet, there's a good chance it could go to him. I was going to say Salvador Dali. That's one of the characters he plays, to Adrian Brody.
Wow.
And because he got it for the Golden Globes. But I'm not saying, you know, those will truly 100%, you know, correspond with each other. But, you know, just it seems more in line with what the Academy would go for.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's where my mindset is. What about you? Do you think?
I feel like Timmy's been chasing this Oscar for a very long time, and I would really love to see him get it for either Paul Atreides or Bob Dylan, because it is a really good performance. I think he puts in a lot of work. You told me that Bob Dylan actually was like, I liked his performance, right?
Yeah, I mean, then again, for that, I think I just grazed a headline. So take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But yeah, that was the general word of mouth that I heard, that Bob Dylan did give his thumbs up to the Timothy's portrayal of him.
Yeah. I think overall, my heart goes with Paul Atreides, but my brain goes with Bob Dylan. So I think it's going to be Bob Dylan that he gets nominated for. We know he's going to get nominated for, but there's also other great performances in here too. Edward Norton, I don't know about you, but I was like supporting actor 100%. I really liked him in here.
Yeah, at times he was kind of unrecognizable. Like, I mean, there at the beginning, you know, like, oh yeah, Ed Norton, and then like a few other times, like, yeah, this is Ed Norton over there. But then there are certain moments where maybe it's like the angle or just like the way he's conveying himself in those moments. You know, it's just like, oh, that's Ed Norton. You know, like, hold up a minute. You know, so I gotta say, like, he kind of was playing hide and go seek there quite a bit. Little peekaboo.
I love what he's doing with his career, so I'm really happy he was in here. As well as, I'm gonna butcher her name, Monica Baribeau, who played Joan. I really liked her. She was a great singer too. Everyone in here is great singers.
Yeah, and then even those who, you know, didn't have the chance to sing, Ellie Fanning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Elle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elle Fanning.
Yeah, like, gosh, they're both wonderful, like Dakota and Elle. So it's like, I want to be sure. You know, so yeah, she gave a great performance, really conveying like the emotion behind her character and the, turmoil going on with her and her relationship with Bob Dylan. And, it was very well done, very well casted. If you look at the pictures a lot for these people in real life and, adjacent to who they are actually portrayed by, I think it was an excellent cast that they placed together here.
And the only thing about Elle Fanning, she's not in it a ton, but when she's in it, she does give a really good performance.
She kind of steals the show a bit.
She really does. And I think she just has, I don't know, I feel like I've seen her in more stuff than Timothée, like, early on. And so maybe that's why. But I really did enjoy her performance, too. And the music is so good. Again, as not a music fan, I really liked every music that I heard in here.
And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, that, it was performed like on set, or, it was performed by, Timothée as well. I know that's, for a lot of different things, it's like, oh, we have to like pre-record and all that. Might have been the case, but I don't know, it felt really authentic, especially with turning away from the mic and all that, like a lot of the sound design there.
Yeah, I think it was super cool. Like, whenever anyone performs live, you can just tell it feels like more realistic. So I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, and you were talking about Monica Barbaro.
Yes.
I believe that's her name pronunciation. If we're butchering that, I'm sorry. Wonderful performance. Going back to her, like she really did feel like a person from that time. Like the way that her countenance, her cadence, everything about her conveying the character of Joan, very well done.
Yeah.
And her and Elle Fanning really did, even though they weren't really on screen together all that often, their dynamics really did play off each other very well.
Well, there's one moment where Monica's singing with Timothée on stage, and then Elle Fanning's off to the side, and she starts crying, and it like, that's probably their only scene that they share together, but it meant so, like, I don't know, it was just such an important scene that I felt like conveyed the plot and like conveyed Elle's character as well.
Yeah, it's like with all the scenes in between where it's like, even though they're distances away, you still feel like there's some sort of, they have to have interacted, once or twice. And, by the time they actually get to that moment where it's a simple glance, it's like, wow, you feel like there's just so much more that had occurred, and which had, but not to the extent that we had originally felt.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, though, like any movie that has like people working so hard at something, it gets me being like, I just want to go home and stay up late and write music, even though I know I can't do that. But I just enjoyed it. It was just so much fun. Like, I didn't know much about Bob Dylan, now I do, so.
That's right. Annmarie is abandoning CassetteTake to go write music. She's living that life. Next time you hear us, it's going to be Annmarie's latest folk tune.
Album dropping in June 2025. I'm kidding.
It's called I Can Sing by Annmarie.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, no, and then also just the movie, I will say, you did feel the runtime.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, like this was probably the same length as Dune Part 2.
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. I know that.
And Dune Part 2 was what, like 2 hours?
And I say 2 hours and like 30 maybe. So.
Yeah. So I mean, and this movie felt much longer than Dune Part 2.
Oh my gosh.
And that's not, in this case, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Just go into it, expecting a long movie, and then, you'll benefit from that, I would say. Because if you don't, you're probably gonna be like, oh, shouldn't this movie have, like, I'm enjoying the movie, but like, shouldn't it have ended like an hour ago?
Well, and I feel like the big turning point does come in the third act.
Right.
And so you're building up to that. So.
Yeah. It's like, oh, like, let's take a look at the context of what year we're in. And then it's like, sing a song. And then montage. And then it's like, Bob wandering off somewhere. And then do it again.
Get on his motorcycle. Let's go.
But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just,
beware.
Yeah, beware when you go into that movie with, knowing that it's going to be a long run time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, partially why I would probably still put it if we were to go back to our, top fives of 2024,
Oh yeah.
it might make the top 10, but I would probably more so put it on the honorable mention list still for if we were doing our top fives again with this movie being involved. It probably still wouldn't crack the top 5 for me.
No, I'm sorry. Dune Part 2 was too good. It's not cracky. It's holding the.
Yeah, no, I mean, even with the other movies I have on my list, it's not breaking those either. But, again, not to say we enjoy it. We love this movie. And the cinematography as well. Who's the cinematographer?
I don't know. I did really like their costumes and all that, like the hairstyles and everything. I don't know if I'll get a nomination for that, but I do think it was kind of cool going back to the 60s era of things.
Fedman Papa Michael. That's an awesome last name. Papa Michael?
Papa Michael?
What's up? It's Papa Michael. How you doing?
He sounds Italian.
Does. I gotta find out. Annmarie, talk. I need to find out what else this guy has done. Mr. Papa Michael.
We have now become a fan of Papa Michael, to be honest. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it would make my top 5. Honorable mentions, yeah, definitely. But it'll be interesting to see where it ends up in the Oscars, too, because I feel like this Oscar season is kind of jam-packed.
Oh! I mean, yes.
Papa Michael?
Sorry, I pulled him up now on IMDb, but yes, no, this year has been pretty jam-packed.
Yeah.
This guy is basically, what's his face?
What's his face?
Wow, I'm blanking on the director. James Mangold.
Oh, he's like buddies?
No, well, I mean, yes, but like he's the he's his go-to cinematographer.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm looking at his
besties.
Yeah, they're besties. They're camera besties. They're lensies.
They're lensies.
Make it a thing. But yeah, no, he did Ford v Ferrari, Walk the Line. So this must have been like,
Yeah.
simple walk through the park for him.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The Trial of the Chicago 7. Some movie called ACompleteUnknown. Never heard of it. He also did that Daddy-O movie.
Oh wow. Good for him.
So yeah, what a great guy, Papa Michael. I hope I'm not butchering that name. It looks like Papa Michael.
We're sticking with it.
I love it. Love you, Papa Michael.
Oh man.
But
Rankings?
what?
Ranking. We have to.
Why do we have to rank everything? Kidding.
Are we getting rid of that in 2025?
New us. Let's go.
No.
No. Okay. Annmarie.
Yes.
Out of 10.
Come on.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know what object I want to do because there were so many of them throughout the movie. Like, you take a shot every time you see one. But it was the times, Annmarie.
It was the time.
Frantically dancing cigarette butts upon a esoteric artist's mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Out of 10.
Out of 10. I would give this, you know what? I'm going to start 2025 off on a high. I'm going to give it a 9. I really did enjoy this movie. I think Timothée Chalamet is really great in it. I'm so glad he's doing these indie projects and really putting so much into it because you can tell he really enjoyed this project. He has talked about it. And I think the cast is wonderful. And so I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10? I mean, I'd have to agree with you on that. 9 out of 10. It really came down to the runtime and just some stuff that they mentioned at the end, like where it was, oh, this character went on to, those classic at the end of the credits, this character went on to do this character went on to do that. And that's all fine and dandy, but it seemed like a lot of the stuff they went on to do, they only just kind of touched on in the movie. And like barely in the beginning and then just never kind of went back to it ever again. Like the certain civil rights and social dynamics were brought up at the very beginning and then it was just kind of like not really touched on in the latter half of the movie. So it was just kind of like, oh yeah, that was a thing when they brought that up at the end. So, just those two critiques there, I felt like this movie probably could have been a little shorter.
Yeah.
And then, the critique I just mentioned. So, I would give it 9 frantically dancing cigarette butts dancing on an esoteric artist's mouth out of 10.
Okay.
So, guys, A Complete Unknown has now been known by us at CassetteTake. And have you guys have had a chance to meet this complete unknown? We sure have, and we just hope that if you have, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Do you think Timothée is going to be like winning the Oscar for this one, being nominated for it? Or is that going to be doing part 2? Please say the latter, because then you align with me. And we know that when you align with someone in thought, it means a better life. No, but Annmarie, we haven't done this in a while. And that's, I would say, my fault, just scheduling wise. But we've only done reviews. We haven't really talked about what's going on in the movie world.
Yes.
So Annmarie, without further ado, what are we fast forwarding on to next for our next topic here?
Well, something big happened the other night. It was called the Golden Globes. And the Golden Globes celebrates movies and actors and actresses and everything in between. And we both kind of tuned into it because what usually happens, typically...
If we watch football.
Well, yes, we did watch football. We did watch Lions and Vikings, but we also watched that, too. But don't out us like that.
We're an honest, sincere podcast.
Okay. But what typically happens at the Golden Globes is that what gets nominated typically gets nominated for the Oscars too. So we pay attention to that. And there was a lot of stuff that happened, a lot of people that got nominated, a lot of people that weren't happy with some stuff that we want to talk about. So
yeah. So Golden Globes again. I know a lot of they're not really the best award show out there.
No.
They can't even figure out their own categories half of the time. Like they're just like, oh, comedy or musical. I don't know, put them in the same thing.
It's weird.
That's the strangest thing to me, and I could never get over that. Like, oh, best comedy or best music. Like, guys, just put some more gold in the meld and like make another trophy for either comedy
Just
or
do
music.
another one.
It's so silly. But yeah, no, one of the big things, with the correlations between this and the Oscars that I kind of picked up on was the Brutalist.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a movie that we have not seen, starring Adrian Brody. That won Best Director and Best Picture for the Golden Globes. And while we can't speak on the movie's behalf, I'm pretty sure I can confidently say we were both a little surprised by it.
Yeah.
Because we only saw maybe like 2 trailers for this movie, and
even.
I don't think it came out. Like I did not see any show times at all for it this year. I know it's a long movie, and that's why there was some distribution issues from what I heard, but it just, I don't know. Does this mean that The Brutalist has a really good shot at not only being nominated for the Oscar for Best Picture and Best Director, but winning the award of the night?
Absolutely. I stand by that. There's so many times that this happens, and so I am really shocked about it, though. I can't believe that won for. And again, we can't really say too much. We haven't seen it. Who knows? But it seems like a very oddball pick, just like how like Moonlight was over La La Land. Like, that was insane, and so it might be a big upset just like that too.
Yeah, and personally, I'm like, I was at that time, I was like, oh yeah, go La La Land.
Yeah.
But after seeing Moonlight, like, okay, I understand that.
I get it.
And hey, that's some of the great things about the Oscars and award shows in general, is the fact that it brings more attention to these movies that we might not know that we end up liking, and might be our favorite movie of the year, and we wouldn't have heard about it otherwise.
Yeah.
So, granted, I think we both heard about The Brutalist. We just haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it. And same with Substance. The Substance.
Yeah, The Substance. Although that one got quite like a big fan backing after that one came out.
Oh yeah, Demi Moore won for it, which is absolutely awesome. She's kind of coming back, so that's really cool. And we gotta go see that one.
It's kind of like a Jamie Lee Curtis situation for her, where it's like, she's finally getting some good recognition, and good on her, good for her. I am excited to see The Substance. Unlike The Brutalist, that's something, you can get on VOD. So I might end up doing that, and maybe we'll give it a watch.
Oh, yeah.
Another topic, though, that did come up was the whole idea of Emilia Perez.
Yes.
Now, you and I saw Emilia Perez at the Chicago Film Festival, and we both liked it quite a bit. It surprised both of us in more ways than one. And, it when it won over Wicked for Best Musical / Comedy, again, Golden Globes, what are you doing with your categories here? A lot of people were pretty peeved about that.
Yeah, so listen, guys, I'm gonna say something, and a lot of you aren't gonna like this. Most of the time, not always, but most of the time, the Academy or award shows recognize for if it's a part 1, part 2 movie, they recognize for the part 2 movie. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Wicked, and I think most people know that. I can still appreciate what Ariana and Cynthia did, but you guys, neither one of these women will probably win. And I might be eating my words. I will say that if they win, if one of them wins an Oscar, I will apologize. I will get on here and apologize. Don't hate me, but most of the time, they will wait till part 2 happens. And I'm sorry, like, Emilia Perez was really good, and I think it deserves the recognition for its win. So, I'm going to be eating my words.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of the anger kind of stems from, like, people who, I would say just more often than not, haven't seen the movie, and they just hear that one clip of the song where, what's her?
Selena Gomez?
No.
Zoe Saldana?
Yeah, what's Zoe Saldana? It's the song that,
I know what you're talking about.
the one about the procedure itself. Where it just takes that one clip about, like, man to woman,
Yeah.
PP to VGG, like, a little paraphrasing there.
Yeah.
But, and then it's like, I can't believe this won over Wicked. What is going on here? And guys, if you take any movie against Wicked out of context like that, yeah, of course it's gonna sound, like completely, lacking compared to what you've heard in full. So, if before you say anything, definitely go see the movie. It's worth a watch.
Well, and also Emilia Perez does lean more to like what award shows like. We kind of talked about this with A Complete Unknown and Paul Atreides. Like, we kind of figured that they're gonna lean more towards the artsy fartsy, and Emilia Perez is more of the artsy fartsy kind of stuff.
Yeah, except in this case, Wicked leans a lot more into old Hollywood.
That is
and it, and the Academy loves that shit. Like, they eat that up for, breakfast, second breakfast, all of the meals. So I mean, who's to say like what's gonna go on with the Academy with that? But in regards to the Golden Globes, I mean, I personally probably would have put Wicked over Emilia Perez for the the better musical. But again, for people to just come out and say, like, who probably have not seen the movie, they're just like, oh no, this is poopy. We took this one little bit about PP to the GG, and now it's the only thing I know from the movie, and therefore I will share that with the rest of the world and make it known that that's the only thing from the movie that matters, and that's the only thing of the movie of value.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. That's sad to see, and I hope more people, like with the award-winning Emilia Perez now, I hope more people go out and see it. It's on Netflix, so if you still feel that way after you watch it, so be it. But I would say if you're going to voice that opinion, at least hear the movie out and then speak your mind. Otherwise, you're just another one of those people that it reminds me of Conclave.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where it's like a lot of people are coming out and like definitely haven't seen the movie or like half-heartedly watched it or went into it expecting to hate it and just spoke their mind about it as if they knew everything about it or truly paid attention to it and gave it a chance, and they did not.
And I get it, too. It's a very much a David versus Goliath situation with Wicked and Amelia Perez. And so, again, like Ethan said, go watch it. Like, you don't know. Selena Gomez is great in it. Like, go see it for yourself. If you come back and you have the same opinion, fine. Like, can't stop you from having an opinion about it, but...
Yeah, I mean, heck, I was not expecting to like it. I went in and it was like, oh, this is probably just going to be a movie with good cinematography and solid acting, and that's about it. No, I was blown away by it, so definitely give it a shot.
Yeah.
But outside of Amelia Perez, you know, there were a few other categories as well. Again, like with Demi Moore and The Substance. Do you think that Demi Moore is going to be the winner of the Oscar?
Yeah.
Because of that. You do?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Academy loves the story of Demi Moore right now, and so I think they'll eat it up. Again, don't hate me, everyone. I know everyone wants Cynthia to win so she can get her EGOT. She will win next year for Wicked Part 2. Don't yell at me.
What if they switch up the roles, though?
Don't do this.
Like, you know how they're doing, you know, one is supporting, one is leading.
No way. Not for Wicked.
Well, for Part 2, they switch it.
No. Don't do
Again, I haven't seen Wicked Part 2. I don't know. I
You
haven't
don't know
seen a musical.
anything.
I know nothing. Why are you listening to this podcast? But no, I'm just saying maybe that's what they were hoping for, that it's like, oh, maybe one was an Oscar this way, and then like we switch them up here, then there's another shot at them winning it for a different position here, and it's balanced out.
We're gonna get yelled at again for this.
I don't know. It's all ambiguous. Who knows?
Listen, I think Demi Moore, you know, I haven't seen it yet, but I eat the story up. Like, she's coming back. Like, it's the same thing with Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, that was a perfect, like, I can't think of words. Way to contrast those two. So I really think Demi Moore has a good chance. I stand by it. If you win a Golden Globe, you're like, Darren, they're like carving your name on the Oscar, pretty much.
Yeah, more or less. I can't remember like a specific instance in which it happened, but you know, there's the Golden Globes. You know, there's quite a difference between journalists, who are the ones that vote for the Golden Globes, and then the Academy, which is, you know, amongst your peers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it will vary quite a bit, but in regards to nominations, it will be very similar.
Definitely.
So, but I don't know. There's a lot to go down. A lot of space in between now and when the nominations are announced.
Yeah.
We still have a lot of movies to see until then. And, you know, as far as we know, Gladiator 2, because Christopher Nolan thinks it's the greatest movie that came out in 2024, is going to take it all. We don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for Christopher Nolan.
But, hey, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Do you guys think there's a significant correlation between the Golden Globes and the Oscars? Do you think that since one happened, the other's definitely going to happen, or does it just mean it's more likely to happen? You know, are you excited for certain nominations or nominees to be announced? Whatever you are thinking, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And with that, Annmarie, I think this tape is just about run out of reel.
Oh, I like that. I like that new saying.
Oh, thanks. I improv'd it. I'm so cool.
That was good.
Oh, shit. We're still recording. No, but thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. We hope that you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast, but whether you have or haven't, please do not forget to rewind. I've been Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
Goodbye.
And like a rolling stone. Single out in June.